is Katy Clark. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Welcome to the show.
It's all hashtag Friday Feels, and you have mastered it as a dating guy.
Yes,
the secret?
yes and no.
What is the secret?
The secret is enjoy your dating life.
Oh.
Like, why are we
Say it again. Can you say it again?
just have fun?
Can you just say it
Can we just have fun meeting people?
Thing.
You know, it's really about that. You're not gonna marry everybody you date. So just enjoy who you date and don't burn bridges.
Ooh,
I stay friends with everybody. There's truly almost maybe 5 guys in 7 years that I probably wouldn't talk to, but I stay friends with everybody and I connect.
How do you do that? How do you do that? How do you stay friends and not burn bridges with these people, whether it's after a date or two or a relationship?
So kind of like what we were talking about, I call it dating like an adult. All right, so we communicate how things are going in this relationship.
That's such a concept.
Right? Like, let's grow up here and date well and date honestly and date communicatively. And one of the things I encourage my clients to do is the 3-3-3 rule. So give somebody 3 dates. You know, oftentimes men and women are nervous on a date, or maybe they were rushed that time. It just didn't go well. But if there's some sort of chemistry, and men and women look at chemistry very different, and I think in very different orders of importance, give them 3 dates, and then evaluate. Like, is this somebody I want to keep spending time with, go deeper with? And then I encourage that on 3 weeks and 3 months. Like, let's just be fair and honest with our time, somebody else's time. I work for a company that works with older people. So some of us are young and free. You know, I consider it like this. Dating when you're young is like 2 entrepreneurs coming together. Okay, there's this like ideology and you're creating something together, and then you get divorced. And then it's my turn. So I'm the divorced mom. And it's like 2 companies coming together. It's a merger now. It's a whole different process.
That's a really interesting way of looking at it.
So I have to make sure that company A and company B are going to work. You know, it doesn't mean you don't like company A. It just means maybe that the reality didn't work out. Sometimes traffic in LA. Do I really want to date someone and sit in traffic?
Right. Sometimes you want to be a freelancer, you know what I'm saying? Just kidding.
Independent contractor.
You know, hey, just communicate that. As long as I think you communicate that, I think it's fair. Right? Just tell people your expectations and what you're looking at and what you're looking for.
What is that? I mean, I think that once people put titles, boyfriend, girlfriend, title of whatever, people change, you know? And what's so funny, because like, why don't we just communicate? Like, do we necessarily have this expectation that it's going in this direction? Well, I don't know why everyone's so afraid to just get real.
It's that whole Facebook status thing, you know, like, it's complicated.
Oh my God.
It's so funny that in 7 years I've never been anything. You know, I've kept that clear for a reason, because it's, 1, it's none of your business. But 2, it's like, it doesn't need to be what anybody else thinks or Facebook thinks it needs to be. So for me, it's just about, you know, I'm getting to know somebody, I'm seeing somebody, I'm having fun with somebody. I think it can be different for different relationships, and they all bring
But what if
something.
you're on a different page than the other person?
Then communicate that. This is what you say. Say, hey, look, I'm really enjoying our time together. I'd like to know how you feel about the future.
See, this is the beautiful thing about you, in addition to countless other things, is that you're not just about communication. You're about communication in a very specific, very positive, sort of appreciative, appreciation-focused way.
I would say
and
so.
I think that's what feels different to me, because I think a lot of folks are intent on saying what they feel and expressing their expectations and all that and the whole 9, but they say it in such a way that people have knee-jerk reactions and they don't hear the whole thing.
Right. I think deep down you need to have the confidence to know that the right thing will come at the right time. So if you can speak that, I can speak to somebody and say, hey, is this working out for you? I'm just curious. Because if you say no, you know what I say? Good. I want you happy and I want to be happy.
Right.
So I don't have a problem with that, because deep down I know the right thing at the right time will come. And it's just, that's really all it is.
But you have a great way of diffusing that. For some people, like, we need to have the talk.
Right.
And figure out, like, what that's never going to work.
Freak
not
out and
gonna
run
be
away
good,
as soon as I get that text.
Right.
Like, that's
The
an
text,
art.
though, that's the problem too. It's the text.
Yeah,
like,
we
what
need to
happened to
talk.
this? What happened to the phone? What happened? Hey, let's grab a coffee.
So that's
what
an
are you thinking?
art. To take a client through that, to be like, let's keep it light, keep it up front, talk about it before it becomes a pink elephant in the room, and like, how do you do that?
Well, so I do 2 things at our company. So at Cinqe Matchmaking, we have matchmakers, and then I'm also the dating coach. And I think with that, I get the beauty of having to juggle 2 fields, like putting people together, and I'm not a relationship expert by any means, but I know how to get people dates, how to help them have a fun date, and how to help them have a second date. And that's all, again, just through smart communication, timing, momentum. I think that's another thing that's lacking nowadays, is this there's so many opportunities and everything is disposable and swipeable, that momentum ends so fast that, again, you don't even got to the first date.
No, I'll literally get a text message from a guy that I met like 2 weeks before, and I'm like, so I don't even remember who you are right now, and you want to say, hey, what are you doing this weekend? I'm like, 2 weeks later?
And this is my theory on this. Women should be looking for 4 things, no matter what age we are or in what dating phase. The first thing we women should be looking for is his effort. Because if he's not giving it now, I hate to think, is he really going to give it later? And, you know, we all have, I'm assuming you too, I mean, we all have choices. These guys are coming at us from all different apps and supposedly organically, but I want to see the guy who puts in that special effort. But now for men, I think the number one thing men look for is chemistry, right away. What would you think?
I love well, chemistry, of course.
Right.
I look for happiness.
Happiness.
I want someone that's as happy or happier than me, period.
Right.
Love it.
Because I know that the least happy person is going to bring down the relationship. And I know that from personal experience.
And then what do you think makes a woman happy?
What makes her happy?
Yeah, when you meet somebody.
I let her tell me.
Okay.
I don't know, and I don't expect, and I don't for a second think that I would or do know. I let her tell me that. So I don't know. I do know that I love, and my intention is to make me happy and to stay happy. And I would hope that that also makes her happy, but I love her being happy. So for freedom, for me, is happy, but I also know that security and stability is happiness for lots of people.
Yeah, like effort almost is, I think it's very subjective, because if someone's making an effort because they're looking for me to complete them, that is like, I don't want them to make a lot of effort. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like, what is somebody really up to? And do they love their passion and their mission and what they're up to? Because I know that that's what's sustainable.
Right.
I know the kind of effort I want. Actually, like, call, make your intentions known.
That's what I'm talking about.
Like, not just like this, like, hey, babe, hey, love, like, at 10:30 at night. Like, no,
My dad calls
like,
that trolling.
Yes, I want to be pursued. I don't want to be the pursuer.
Right.
I'm very old-fashioned in that. I want a man to make his intentions known to me.
And that's where the momentum starts. And I think the whole idea behind that is be the man with a plan. Okay, so I wrote a little book on that, Be the Man with a Plan, and what does that look like? So for example, make a date. So by Wednesday, you should have asked her out for the weekend. I had a guy I was chatting with last weekend on a text. We had text banter, which is really important to me. And he never asked me out, so yesterday I sent him a text. I said, shame on you. What a bummer. We had such great text banter. I was hoping you'd ask me out for this weekend. He said, well, I'm so busy, you know, following their passion and work. I get that. But are you so busy that you couldn't say, hey, what are you doing next week? And I'd love to see you.
But why didn't you ask him out?
You know, I'm old school again.
Yeah.
This is what I believe. Old school style with old school standards with new school style.
Ooh,
and it's that idea of I want to be pursued, and that's his effort. That just teaches me now, is he going to remember my birthday? Is he going to send me flowers? It's just kind of as a preface to the kind of man he is. And I'm just old school that way. There's nothing wrong with giving him an invitation to ask you out. Like, hey, you know, this weekend I probably have a couple free days. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, men don't read minds. Am I correct?
I definitely know mine.
And I think
if I did, I wouldn't tell you anyway. That's part of this.
It's part of the secret. I think it's important that we women kind of open those doors so that they can really push them forward.
Right.
We don't need to play games, and we don't need to, you know, cross signals, but we can be like, hey, you know, I'm free this weekend. What are you thinking? But again, I'd like to see men more often approached. So here's my big question. What about this organic thing, meeting people organically?
I love it.
How do you do it?
I prefer it. I meet them everywhere.
Okay.
I meet people in the bookstore. I meet people on the street corner. I mean, literally, I meet people everywhere. And the hard thing for me is to hide from people.
Okay.
Honest to God. And I don't say that from a place of like arrogance or anything like that. It's just that I genuinely like people and I genuinely like myself. And I like connecting and I'm interested in people. So I meet them everywhere. And I'm sometimes shocked that people don't. But I remember a period where I didn't meet people no matter how hard I tried. So I love it. I love the idea of it. And I feel that when you can practice or get good at meeting people organically, it's so much easier to maintain and sustain a healthy relationship.
Right.
Because you've got social skills that you've cultivated over that time.
Right.
But I don't know. I know the experience is different for everyone.
Yeah.
So what would you?
And everybody wants to meet somebody organic. But I think, unlike you, most people have a really hard time meeting people. So a lot of people are swiping. I mean, I was just at Stagecoach. 2 guys came up to me. One was married, one was 20 and drunk. Otherwise, nobody came up to me. But yet I went on Bumble, and sure enough, met guys through Bumble while at Stagecoach, which is kind of sad. I'd love for people to meet more organically and have that confidence to go say hello. But I think our opportunity as matchmakers is to make that a little bit more easy as well. I always tell people we're kind of like the realtors, you know, the realtors of matchmaking. So if you needed to go find a house, what would you do? You'd call a realtor, right? Would you drive around all weekend and look through the newspaper and circle houses and check it out? No, you find somebody who knows the area, who knows what you're looking for and can vet it out for you.
Right. But I think the genius of you is not just matchmaking, but that coaching factor, because I think that they're, whether you're doing it organically, whether you're swiping, whether you're getting a matchmaker, it comes down to what is really going on. And I think it takes a coach sometimes to take a look, you know, a neutral look at it and say, you know, what are you doing with your clothing? What's going on? How are you approaching people? How are you having these conversations and whatever? And so I think that that's a great service that you have, because I think that if someone's having a hard time out there in the dating world, let's face it, comes down to their consciousness, and then it comes down to all those things of how are people experiencing you. So that's so cool. So if I'm somebody and I come to you and I go, okay, I want coaching, what does that look like for you? What do you do with clients?
So I usually do a 4-week process, and they have to be dating at the time. They have to be, you know, they don't have to be starting yet, but we start their profile. I go through it with them. We take some new pictures. We make sure that they're dressed to the nines. I always say curb appeal matters. The house is back on the market. It's going to get more interest, right? Paint it in and put some flowers.
It's not a foreclosure anymore. We're going straight to
stage it. Yeah, I have to buy the stuff. But.
So with that, it's the 4-week process of, okay, now we've got you online, or I've got some people to introduce you to, and then let's talk about the pre-dates, what you're going to talk about, what's yays and nays, what you're going to wear. Post a date, what are you going to do? How fast do you text somebody? It's all the details that matter.
Right.
You know, it's that momentum and keeping it alive without being too much and too little.
It is. It's a. You want to keep it just enough to where it's like there's a value here, there's mystery, but not too much. Yeah, it's a real art.
It is an art.
It is, and you're absolutely right. That's what makes your services and what you do so invaluable and so priceless, because it's so hard to know when you're in the midst of it what you might not be doing right or what you might be doing wrong. Like, you don't know. You're so close to it. Maybe you've been doing it forever, and you've got this blind spot that only someone like yourself would be able to identify.
Right, for sure. So how can people find you?
So, well, I'm Katy Clark, and you can find me at thekatyclark.com. I've got a couple books on there. How to be the best first date he's ever had. Okay. And some fashion books on there as well, right?
You're clearly from California. The Katy Clark.
You know what? Because all the other Katy Clarks were taken.
There's a lot of Katy Clarks now. Not you. Not anything like
I
you,
could
but
do
yeah.
underscore, but anyways. And then also our matchmaking company is Cinqe.com. That's Cinqe Matchmaking. We have a fabulous website. We've got videos online on YouTube, so check it all out.
I accept the challenge.
No, Jess accepts every challenge.
The best first date ever.
Amen.
Amen.
Stay tuned. We're going to be right back with some chocolate.